Hi guys, it's Sam. I just wanted to jump on and share with you how I set up my Daisy Dori planner for October. And I absolutely loved playing with this kit, so I'm so excited to jump on and show it you. I did share an unboxing video, so I'm hoping you've already had a chance to see that and seen all the goodies that you get with this month's kit. It's a beautiful kind of woodland theme this time, so there's some gorgeous foxes and some really cute little woodland animals in there. So it's just an absolute joy to work with. It's really pretty. So I get a couple of extras with my kit as well. You can see I've got like a beautiful vellum piece down the bottom there. And I also ordered the acetates, the planner add-ons on the dashboard. So plenty of goodies to play with. And the first thing I do, as you just saw me do, is take the staples out of my book. And this is something that I learned from other YouTubers actually before I joined Coco Daisy. And this is something that they were doing, other people were doing if they were kind of packing their books. Some people were finding that the pages were getting a little loose. And I knew that I wasn't going to use this just for planning. I wanted to put photos and memory keeping and memorabilia and all sorts of things in here. So I knew I wanted it fairly packed. So I take the staples out and I stitch my books. So this does give me a chance to add in these extra pages. So I've just trimmed that vellum down to the right size. And I'm just flicking through now to try and work out where I want to put it. And I decided that actually I don't want to split up any of the pages with it. It's really nice against that kind of brown craft cover, so I'm going to use it in there. And I've got a piece of acetate which you just saw me bringing at the top, and I'm just wondering if I can use that as an extra page in there somewhere. But I don't want to split up these beautiful watercolour pages, they're too pretty. So I'm just looking to see if I can put it in one of the weekly spreads where it's not got the, like this one, so it's not got the full page picture. And it does look really pretty, that dragonfly in there, so I'm just seeing if that works. But the problem is when I line it up with the right hand side, then the left hand side, the leaves at the bottom there kind of cut off in a bit of a weird way that I'm not keen on. So I'm just trying to see if there's anywhere else it might fit a little better where it doesn't have that kind of solid edge to it. I'm kind of struggling with it, to be honest. So you can see that the leaves and the yellow dot, the yellow kind of patch, the splodge there are upsetting me. So I try and line the leaves up on the other side, which then fixes the leaves problem but gives me that yellow edge there. So it's just, I don't like the harsh line it creates. So not working for me, that one, this month. So I decided I'm just going to go with the vellum, which is fine. I'll have to think of another alternative way of using that acetate this month, I think. So now I'm just going to start stitching through my book. So I'm just double checking that the vellum lines up with where I want it to be and it's all straight and as it should be and it's not kind of moved. And I've just picked some threads out from my kit that match the kit this month. Does that make sense? Kit, too many kits. So I just picked some out in the same colours that match. It doesn't really matter because the way that I buy my book, you don't see the threads anyway. I put some washi over the top. So, I mean, you might see a little bit poking through the washi, but it doesn't bother me. And I could just use white cotton, but I just like to use the pretty colours. It's as simple as that. So I just pin everything together with these safety pins, paper clips even. Get my words out today. Just to hold everything in place, particularly with that vellum, it likes to kind of slide around. And if I'm using acetate, it's even worse. It never stays still. So I'm just poking through. These are the holes that the staples were in. So I'm just poking through so that it's gone through the vellum. And then I just make 2 more holes roughly in the middle of the book, or where I think is the middle of the book. And this has just been trial and error. I did the first book that I got, like I said, I'd seen other YouTubers saying that, stitch it if you're packing it, which was fine. But I just used the staple holes and I used 2 strands of thread. And I found at the end of the month it was still a little loose. So I've just kind of played around with it and found that if I use 3 threads and 2 extra holes, then that works for me. It keeps it really solid. And I can get quite a lot in there and kind of really bulk it up without any problems. So that's just trial and error. I think if it depends on how you're going to use it. If you're not going to pack it so much, you'll probably be okay using just the staple holes. Just play around and see what works for you, I guess, guys. But this works for me, so I'm going to stick to it. So 3 threads, and I double them over as well. So I'm actually stitching with 6. And I have a lot of spare thread because I'm going to double it over. I know I need at least double the length of the book. And because I stitch bottom to top and then back down again, I actually double the thread again, if that makes sense. So I do 4 times the length of the book when I pull the thread out, but then I double it over so it gives me a sewing thread of double the length of the book, so I can go to the top and bottom. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, I just start at the bottom, I just double knot the thread and I stitch all the way to the top and back down and double knot it. There are loads of different kind of tutorials and things on YouTube that you'll see if you Google kind of different binding techniques. And you can get some that don't leave you with this tail at the bottom, and some that are much prettier if you didn't want to cover it up. But like I said, I put washi over it anyway, so I really don't mind. It doesn't have to be the prettiest thing, it just has to work. And you can see it gets a little bit tough. You can see it's kind of knotting up a little bit there. I don't mind, I'll just keep pulling at it. And that's just because I'm going back down through the same holes now. So there's already 6 strands of thread through that hole, and now I'm doing another 6 through it. So it's getting a bit upset, but I'll just keep giving it a tug, and there you go. It's nice and tight and it's done. So that's it. I just keep going. I make sure it's nice and tight and nice and secure all the way up and down. And then when I get to the bottom, which I'm nearly there, I just tuck it back through and double knot it. Just move that little knot out of the way. And it doesn't bother me that the knots are showing. You can feel them under the washi if you wanted to, but you just don't notice them. So I just put it through the last stitch and double knot it. So I've just done one, and there's the double one, and just trim it off. Like I said, if that knot's going to annoy you, you can find other ways of binding it, but for me it's quick, it's easy, and it does the job. There we go, sorted. And I just kind of have to fold it back down because it likes to stick up a little bit after I've stitched it. So I just use the bone folder that comes in my envelope punch board and just fold it back down so it's nice and flat. Just check everything's in where I want it, and it is. And then I just cover that up. So just looking at the washes, and I went with this one because the other one that you've just seen me have a look at is quite purple, and there's not really much purple on this spread, so I decided to go with this one, which came in the main kit. This gorgeous kind of chevron triangle pattern, diamond pattern. So I just make sure that that's kind of in the middle and covering the thread, and just make sure that that little tail is just sitting flat, and cover it up and then trim that off, and that's it. So you can probably just about see it poking through the threads, but not enough to notice the colour probably. I could have just got away with a white, but I like using the pretty colours, so I'm going to use them. Simple as that. A white cotton I use on everything, so it's nice to be able to use crazy colours. And then I just covered the spine up. I think I probably should put a layer of double-sided tape down. I might start doing that in future. I've not had any problems yet, but I've only been doing these for a few months, so I'm just wondering in years to come type of thing if it might start peeling off. So I might start doing that and putting some extra tape or something underneath them just to help. It doesn't matter too much. If it starts to come off, I can always glue it back down. And then again, just kind of squish it back down again because it does like to stick up a little bit. So just make sure it's nice and folded. And that's it. So I can get inside and start decorating it now, which is the fun bit. So I'm just having a look through the papers, and I like to make a little envelope on the inside cover to hold the notepads. And I kind of make one envelope and cut it. If you've seen my videos before, you'll see me do this. And it gives me a bookmark and a little pocket to put my notepads in. And this is me being extremely lazy because I can't be bothered getting up and finding a ruler and a pencil to make this square. So I just use the other paper to mark off the width so that it's the same, the height so it's the same as the width. And then just use my scissors to mark it because I'm super lazy. So I think it gives you a 6-inch square. I think they're about 6-inch on the short side of the papers. So like as you can see, I've just cut that square, and I'm just using my envelope punch board to turn it into a little envelope and just scoring. So it tells you on there what kind of score mark you need to use, and I have done another little video explaining this in a bit more detail, but it's dead straightforward. You punch holes in it and fold, and that's it. And then fold it all together and you've got a gorgeous little envelope. Dead easy. And it punches out those little kind of curved arrows, and I decided I'm going to add those to the little die cut pack because I can use those in the planner as arrows, kind of, or little tags on top of photos or something like that. I decide that I can only see that's the only point I can see, so I just decide to round that one off. And then I just stick it all down. I've already stuck the other 2 sides. I just kind of cut that out of the video so you didn't have to sit through everything. So I'm just sticking down the last flap of the envelope. And I decided to stick that bit of washi in the bit of double-sided right in the middle because I've got a bit spare and I think that's a good idea. Forgetting the fact that I need to get in this envelope. I know I've just sealed it shut, but I'm about to trim it so that I can get into it. You'll see in a second. And putting a great big bit of double-sided tape in the middle of it wasn't a good idea. I wasn't having a good day, guys. You just have days where you think, I'm feeling creative, I'm really going to do this, and then nothing works. It just doesn't happen for you. So it was one of those days. You'll see I make a few mistakes in this video, but we get there eventually, and I'm happy with how it turned out. It was just a struggle. I can normally set everything up in less than an hour, and this is probably about 3 hours worth of faffing. I played with this envelope forever as well to try and get the corner that I wanted and work out how I wanted to display it and which side I wanted at the front, and then that didn't work. I wanted those beautiful purple leaves to be on the front, and they're not, they're on the back, so never mind. Now I've realised that I've got that bit of double-sided tape inside, which I can't get out. So I decided it doesn't matter if the last piece of the notepad is stuck to the back. As long as I can get the other ones out, it's fine. The last note page, you'll just have to stay in there. So I'm just having a look now and seeing where I want it to sit. And I do love it on top of that vellum. And looking back at the video now, I really wish I'd stuck it there, but I don't. So I think that looks really pretty. So of course I don't do that because it was one of those days. No, I do know why I didn't do that. So I decide that if I stick that vellum down onto the craft cover, I'm not sure how that'll behave through the month, whether it'll want to move as I'm opening and closing the book. I think that'll kind of slide and move and possibly rip. I don't know. I don't trust it. So I decide to keep it loose. So it's stitched in the middle and not fastened down around the edge. So I keep it loose, which means I'm going to have to stick everything underneath it because it won't take the weight on top of it without being stuck down. Does that make sense? So I decided to stick that underneath it and keep the vellum as a loose piece on top. I might decorate the vellum as I go through the month. We'll see how it goes. But I still like that. So you'll see with the acorns, I wonder about sticking those on top of the vellum. See if that'll work. But then I think that'll be, like I said, it'd be quite heavy. It might just pull the vellum down and weight it and not be great. So I do end up sticking that on the craft cover as well. But I mean, that vellum is just so pretty. It's nice to be able to see it actually. So yeah, no, I decided to stick that underneath and I'll have a look. I was thinking maybe I could kind of find a nice quote to put on there, or I'll think of something. I usually use the inside cover for my notes anyway, so that's my usual setup, so that's okay. So then I jump to these pages, which are the divided pages that are gridded, and I use these for my daily to-do pages. So I'm just having a look there on my phone to see what day of the week the month starts, and it starts on a Sunday. So I'm just double checking. I shouldn't need to because Coco Daisy know what they're doing, but I'm just checking that there's enough weeks to do that, and I don't have to kind of add in to start early or anything like that. I've still got enough if I divide my pages. I like to have a week on a page, so instead of having the 6 boxes, I divide up the last box. Just use some in the washi tape. That's what I'm doing now. So I have Saturday and Sunday on the last bit as half a box each, which is fine because I don't have so many plans on a Saturday and Sunday. I do a lot. But I have the back end of this book as like a dear diary, so I can write about what I did. But in terms of kind of appointments and meetings and kind of things that have to be scheduled in, I don't have as much on the weekend, so that's easy. So like I said, I just use the washi tape to split up that last box so that I can get a week on a page. And I just alternate the washies. It just lets me use both of them. I get one in the main planner kit and I get the add-on. So I like to use both of them when I can. And I did have a quick flick and decided I wanted to use the purple one on this page because there's quite a lot of purple and purple toadstools and things on the bottom. So I just worked that out and worked backwards, and I think it meant I had to start with the other one to make sure that one was purple. But that's fine. So it doesn't really matter. I'm quite happy with, obviously everything coordinates anyway, so I just use whichever and alternate them through. And that's it. So there's, like I said, there's 6 weeks this month, and it starts on a Sunday, which upsets me because that means I've got all the rest of that spread to work out something to do with. So I'll think of something. I haven't really planned it this month. I normally sketch out the pages and kind of work out what I'm going to put where. And I haven't. I'm just going to go with the flow this month and see what I fancy putting in. I think I've said before, but I get married this month, which has come around so fast. So I will have plenty of stuff to put in. I'll have loads of photos and things, which will be really nice. I'll be able to fill it up. So I decided to just mark off where the month starts with the Hello Autumn sticker that you get. And I didn't want it kind of floating, so I'm just using a bit of washi to put underneath it, just to kind of give it something to anchor onto. And there we go, you just use that Hello Autumn for the start of the month. And then I had a little purple heart as well from the stickers. And that just, like I said, just kind of highlights where the month starts. I've got the little Sunday for the first down in the right hand corner, and I've got the rest of the spread then to work out what to do with. I've no idea what I'm going to do with the rest of that. All of that, I'll think of something. Maybe a currently list or a kind of monthly goals or something like that. So now I'm just working through the weeks using the little flags that come in the main kit, the main Daisy Dori kit that I subscribe to, and I get the standard size. That's what this one is. And I love these little flags. They're so cute. They're in all the different colours of the whatever kind of the theme is that month. So this is obviously the reds, oranges, yellows and greens, and they're just so pretty. It gives you a really nice splash of colour right across the pages. And then you've got these little kind of they look like mini houses, little triangle kind of shapes that nestle in underneath them with the days of the week on. And they will fit right underneath them, but I just like to leave a little white line. I think it looks pretty. And that just tucks in underneath. So I have all my days and my dates marked out managed to rip that one as I'm taking it off. I told you I just wasn't having a good crafty day. But yeah, it just looks really pretty, and I don't mind where these fit. I don't put them in the same place on every spread. I kind of look at the spread and see where it works for that spread. So on this one, there you go, you can see I was kind of going to put it there, but I didn't want to cover up that leaf, so I put them on the inside line. But then on another spread, if there was a bit of the kind of pattern on the inside line, I'd put them on the outside line of the book. So I just take each one as it comes. And even page to page, I don't mind if the left-hand side, they're on the left, and the right-hand side, they're on the right, or vice versa. It really doesn't matter. I don't mind if it's different on every page. The decoration's going to be different, what I'm doing is going to be different, so I quite like the variety, to be honest. And then there's these little weekend stickers on the kit as well, you just saw me put on top of the washi. So it just splits up my weekend. And that's how I like to kind of divvy it all up. Just make it look pretty, really. I don't decorate anything in advance. I just like to sit down in the morning on each particular day and work out. I do actually use this for planning, so I'll sit down on Monday morning, for example, and work out what I've got to do during the day on Monday, writing all my appointments, stamp anything that I want, anything in my stamp stash that relates to what I'm doing that day. I look through the stickers and see if there's anything that relates to that. So I kind of decorate each box as I go. I do occasionally get behind, which is fine when it's a busy month, and then I'll decorate 2 or 3 boxes at once. I did share a plan with me last month where I did a whole week at once because I got behind the whole week. But I do genuinely use this as a planner and try and track each day. And then at the end of the day, I go back to the book, and in the back section, which you'll see me come to, I do a diary section. So I kind of write a bit more about my feelings and what I've been up to and what's been going on and who's annoyed me and all that type of jazz at the back of the book. So that's the fun bit. But I do like to make this bit pretty. I don't decorate the Dear Diary section, actually. I have the dates stickers on, but it's just journal text. I don't add stickers or stamps or anything like that in there, really. So this is where I get to play in this kind of daily to-do section. And now I just realise I haven't put the tabs on that run down the side of the book. That's what I'm realising now. I said it wasn't a good day and I kept making mistakes. This drove me mad because my OCD now kicks in because I'm halfway through putting these flag stickers on. So I should finish putting the flag stickers on, which is what I do. But the thought that I've missed out this step, and what if I put a flag sticker where one of these tabs needs to be, this is upsetting me, massively upsetting me. So I decided just, if it's fine, put all the flags on and then we'll add the tabs and hopefully we won't have a problem. And now I put the labels in the wrong place, that one won't move, so I have to move that one. Just wasn't having a good day at all. Really wasn't. So, but that's the end of the month, and so I just add the little reveal sticker to the 28th because that's when the Cocoa Daisy reveal is for next month's kit. And then I have to go back, and though there's one weekend sticker that I missed, so I add that to that washi just at the bottom. And then I do have to put the tabs in and just hope that I haven't put a sticker where a tab needs to be because that will drive me insane. Luckily I haven't, so that's okay. But I do normally do the tabs first for that exact reason, so that I don't decorate over where I want a tab. So the way I do this is there are 6 tabs that you get in the main planner die cut kit. Does that make sense? The main planner kit comes with a pack of die cuts. There we go, and it's got 6 tabs in it. So on the little tab sheet, there are 3 tabs that I use, which are written, and then I use 2 blank ones and fill them in myself. So the ones that I use are Hello, whatever the month is. So this one's obviously Hello October. And then I use the Daily To Do and the Meal Plan. They're my first 3 sections of my Dori. So I just pull them off and then decide which colour tab they look nicest on. So I decide on those 2, and I just lie them along the top there so I can see how they work next to each other, how they'll be on the edge of the book. This is my meal plan, which will be my next section. Then the next section of my Dori is my Dear Diary, but there isn't a tab for that, so I'll just write my own. So I'm just looking, I just go on colours, I just decide those 2 tabs look best following on from the first 3. So I stick 2 of the blank tab label stickers on to write my own. And like I said, that first one will be Dear Diary, that's what I'm writing now. And then the last section hasn't got a name. I know what it is. At the end of every month I kind of do a monthly overview, kind of do a bit of memory keeping, put some photos in of what's happened in the month, highlights, all that type of stuff, what I've achieved, what I'm proud of, all that type of thing, and kind of just do some almost kind of scrapbook pages. But I need a snappy title that fits on that tiny label, which that doesn't. So I don't know, highlights might do, or I don't know, October summary or something like that. Even that, I don't even think I could fit that on, to be honest. But it means that my last few books all have a tab for the last section, but there's nothing written on it on any of them. So I'm just adding the tabs in now, which should not be as difficult as I seem to make it. I really, really struggle with these guys. Like, I know I've told you that I was having a tough day anyway today and just nothing was working. Which, to be fair, I mean, the kit is so beautiful that I don't really mind if I'm struggling with it a little bit, because I love working in it, even if it's not working for me. Does that make sense? I never kind of give up. I do genuinely love playing with the kit and trying things, and if it's not working, I'll try something else, and that's fine. But every single month, these tabs drive me insane. I can get the top one in, I can get the bottom one in. That's fine, that's not a problem. I can just about manage the middle one. Then I get a bit stuck. So any advice would be great. I do struggle with these. I should probably get some thinner double-sided tape. That might help, because I have to tuck all the edges in, which just is a pain, and trim around it. The middle one, I can kind of eyeball where the middle is, kind of roughly get that. That's not a problem. But you can't see the tab before it at the same time. Does that make sense? So I can't see the one that's going to be on top of it to make sure it's lined up properly, because I can't close the book until I've stuck the tab in. So I have to stick the tab in, then close the book, and then realise it's not in the right place and try and peel it off, which never works. But the joys of editing, you don't have to sit through my 4 hours of moving the tabs 15 million times. Look, it looks like that one just went in first time. It did not. It really, really did not. So anyway, it's in now, and it looks pretty now, and I didn't rip it up and throw it, so it's okay, we got there. But I really do struggle with these. Trying to line them up is just a nightmare. So I think I'm getting there. It's probably just a practice thing. Just the more I do it, I'll manage. But I do love the look of them. They're so pretty. They're just awesome, kind of sticking out the side of the book. There you go. It looks nice, so I'm happy now they're in, even if it takes me 100 times to stick them in. So there we go. So I'm at the end of the month, and I just decided to mark off the end of the month with a bit of washi, like I did with the start of the month. So again, I've got kind of a spare page now. I've just realised, actually, I've just put that weekend washi in, which I didn't need. I might peel that off, but I've got a spare bit that I'll need to work out something to do with. So now I'm into the middle of the book, and I like to use this for a meal planner and kind of menu keeping track of my meals for the month. And I also use it for planning the meals as well. So I add in a little tip in, which you can see me doing now. I just go through my dashboards and kind of decide which one I'm going to use. And I decided to use this one, which says something about, come on Sammy, move your hand and I can read it. It's something about, oh, come on, move your hand. I can't actually remember. Oh, here we go. Act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. That's what it says. See, we'll get there eventually. And that's really good for me at the moment, because at the moment I'm really trying to make healthier choices with what I'm eating and improve my health. So it's kind of just a reminder that each choice that you make, each kind of mini choice at each meal does make a difference. Kind of cutting out tiny little things, all these tiny things does make a difference. I thought that was quite apt. It worked for me this month. So I do try and look at what's on the dashboards and see if I can relate them to what I need them to be. Does that make sense? And I do sometimes use them as a bit of a hint. So last month I had some spare room, and one of the dashboards had a quote about, I'll probably get the wording wrong, but it was something about, I am a part of everything I've ever read. I think that's what it said. So I use that as kind of a reading currently list, and books to read and magazines I was enjoying. So I do use them as a jumping off point sometimes. So that worked for me this month as my little tip in. And I've just written all the dates of the month down the left-hand side there, and I've just spelt out tea time, and I'll put dinners on that right-hand side. In my house, it is dinner and tea. I don't mind what you call it. Call it lunch, dinner, supper, whatever you want. But in my house, it's tea time, which happens at night after I get in from work, and dinner is what I have in the middle of the day. So that is the lunches and the meals in my house. So that's what I've got on here. So I just keep track. And then, like I said, I use this little like tip in for my shopping and my grocery list. So I'm just trying to find a little tab, but I don't want to cover up those gorgeous dragonflies at the top. You can see there. So I find a smaller tab in the planner add-on die cuts, but it's still covering them up. So I'm just looking at adding it on the side instead, which works out better because I just love that dragonfly at the top. He's too pretty. So I found a little sticker that says groceries, which worked out perfectly. And more really, really fat double-sided tape that is way too big and needs cutting down. I need to get some skinny stuff, I really do. I'm jealous of everyone else's skinny double-sided tape. So I just trimmed that down, which seems to take me a week. Come on, Sam. And then I just tuck it all in and add that to the side. as a little kind of lift up bit for that tipping. So there we go. So I can get into that a little bit easier now, and then I'll stick some of the notepads on the inside there. So I'm just having a look to see if there's anything else to decorate it with. I can't remember what I find now. I like doing these voiceovers because I kind of look back and think, oh, what happens next? So I can't remember. My memory's appalling. So what did that? Oh, that one's a shopping list. So I added that one in. And then I think that one actually said meal plan, so even better. So just add those in as a little bit of decoration. And then, like I said, I just pull off, because there are 6 weeks, I pull off 7, because the back piece will be stuck down, so that won't be able to move. So I'll have 6 that I'll be able to tear off, so I can meal plan each week, write a shopping list on this right hand side, and then be able to tear that off and take it with me. So I'm just trying to add a bit of decoration behind it, really, because it looks a bit plain, just kind of plonked on there. Last month there was a quite a big sticker that said shopping, I think, or some shopping list, something along those lines. And I managed to fill up the gap with that, but there isn't one quite like that this month. There's kind of Halloweeny ones instead, which are awesome, but they don't work for my meal planning. So I just use some of the washi just to bring a bit of colour across. And then I just stick that back one down with double-sided tape. There we go. I think the washi looks really nice behind that. I'm happy with that. And that's that done. So now I'm up to, you saw me flip over then one of the blank pages. I'll use that for memory keeping. So I keep those blank. I don't kind of pre-plan anything or prepare anything on those pages. And this section I use as my diary section. So I use the extra sticker sheet that comes in the planner add-on, which has got this beautiful alphabet on, but it has got another set of numbers. So I just use these to mark off the days. And again, I do exactly the same as I do in the first part of the book in terms of where I put these. I'll just look at the decoration on the page and what I don't want to cover. So you can see in the bottom left, there's no way I'm sticking a sticker on that fox's head. So they'll have to go down the right-hand side on that spread. And then on the other side, there's some beautiful flowers on the right-hand side. So now the stickers will have to go on the left. So I just look at the page and decide where I want to put them. There's no kind of, there you go, I'm on the other side now. It's just because I can, because I feel like it, because it's my diary and I can. As simple as that. But like I said before, I don't decorate these in any other way. I didn't really journal before I started doing this. I planned, but I didn't really journal. And I'm actually finding that little space I could fill 2 or 3 times over most days. I've got so much to say. Maybe I'll have to start giving a bit more space to it, but at the moment it's working for me. I think if I decided to do a whole page or anything, I might overwhelm myself and not do anything, so I'll keep with the little boxes. And then, like I said, this last page I do kind of an overview of the month and what's gone right and wrong. So I just add that October sticker. And there's always a circle sticker at the end of the kit, and I love to add that on the back. I think it just looks really pretty. And it was a little gnome Simon, it was amazing. So now I'm just doing the front cover. I usually do this first, but I have to admit I struggled this month. I think it was because I usually use there's always a dashboard. Well, I say always, I've only subscribed for a few months. All of the kits that I've had, there's always been a dashboard that has the month written quite large across the front, and I use that as my cover. So I'm just playing around with that extra strip of vellum or some decoration or something to see what I can get. I'm struggling with this one because I think it's because the words and the October are quite low down, and above it there's not much going on. I know there's kind of this pattern, there's like a dotty pattern of purple and oranges, but there's not really much happening up there. So it does look a little bit plain. So I'm just kind of playing around to see what to do with it, really. I'm looking at the sticker sheets, I've looked at the die cuts, I'm just not quite sure what to do. I look at maybe trying to pull some of that purple down across the bottom. I think there's quite a lot of purple up at the top of the card, so I'm just trying to pull that down a little bit. And I like that. I'm just going to add a little bit more because I cut it off a little bit too short. That looks a bit better. I think that works better. It seems to ground the card a little bit more. So I'm happy with that. So I decided, do you know what, I'm just going to go with it. There's no other dashboard that I prefer. Some of the others have nicer kind of decoration, but I really want the one that's got the October written on the front. It works for me then. When I'm looking at all of my Dories, I know what the month is straight away. And there's always a tiny sticker with the months and date and year. So that's October 2017. So just add that on it as well because it's got the year on. But it's just a little plain. So I'm just having a look to see what I can do. And I decided I really like these tabs. I'm sorry it's out of view, guys. I promise I do pull it back down. So on this extra sticker sheet, you get kind of tab stickers as well. And I just cut one in half. There you go. It's got some beautiful mushrooms on. And I decided to kind of stick that on, but on top of the dashboard, just to pull it down a little bit, and decide that I really like that, so that's what I'm going with. So I'm just having a look through, see if there's anything else that I want to add or do. But I think I'm pretty much set up for the month. So yeah, that's what I decided to go with. Then I pack it all up and realise I forgot the paper clips because I'm useless. So I was going to end the video there and then thought, no, I'm just going to show you these gorgeous puffy paper clips, which are absolutely beautiful. So I've got this fox, this sleeping fox. Look, he's just amazing. Absolutely gorgeous. I love him. So I think that wasn't helping when I was saying it kind of looked a little bit unfinished on the front and I wasn't sure. I think this didn't help that I didn't have all these little extra bits hanging out the top of the planner. So I made those now. I'm going to add those into the top and that works. So I can use one to keep that vellum flat or fairly flat. I use that beautiful fox. And then I decide to mark where the days are. So I've got the first marked there and then I'm going to mark the first at the back as well so I can jump straight to those pages. There we go. So now it looks a bit cuter already. And then I've got my bookmark for that top corner. So now I'm happy. I think that looks really, really pretty. And decided just to add some of the little puffy hearts. And now I'm really happy. I think that the cover looks lovely. Now I'm happy. I'm happy. That's my October setup. And then again, I forgot that we had this beautiful bookmark. So as I was packing up, I remembered and just decided to slot that in. So that's it. That's my setup for this month, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd love a thumbs up and please subscribe. See you next time. Bye.